Hey everyone,
Hey.
Jimmy with the Triple C Collective here for another Mandalorian Monday. And as always,
Collin's here.
love you, Collin. Appreciate you doing this with me.
Yes, sir.
So today we're about to hit the midway point of Mandalorian season 3. We're gonna dive in here to episode 4, chapter 20, the Foundling. And gotta say, man, there's a lot of great stuff in this episode.
Even the name, the Foundling, it refers to a couple things going on right here. Because, Din himself is a Foundling. Grogu's a Foundling, who's clearly important in this episode.
Yeah.
And also there's another Foundling in this episode that we'll talk about.
Absolutely. It's so great.
Yeah, we start the episode off at the Children of the Watch training facility that outside of the cave, basically, and it's just a bunch of younglings and apprentices.
They're all
training, and then there's like it seems like the straight up Mandalorians are just kind of walking through, giving notes and whatever, and then we see Grogu here chilling with some rocks. It seems like he's using the Force, like messing around, just chilling, like using the Force.
Pulling some rocks towards him and
yeah,
stuff.
it seems like that's what he's doing, right? And then he picks one up, and it's like a crab. And he's like, looks like he's about to munch on that thing.
Yeah.
And then Din walks up. Like, all right, you ready for training,
Yeah, and then all of the rocks that were around him, which kind of makes you think that, like, was he, like, keeping them all there, but then like
I think that they're trying to get away from him.
Yeah.
And he just kept I think they were definitely trying to get away from him because they scurried out of there real quick.
Yeah, they got out of there really quick.
They knew he was trying to yum on them.
But dude, how about Grogu's training here?
This is such a cool point because they get a lot of things across here. There's some lore. They like pretty much right away. So we see him start training, and the challenger you pick is basically Vizsla's like youngling. We don't know who he is right now. It's like it seems like it's like a trainee under Vizsla.
Because they have a similar helmet.
And he's kind of watching over at this point, and there's a few cuts of him, but it's these two against each other, and Vizsla's trainee is basically like, well, I can't fight this little kid. Like he doesn't even have a helmet. What do you mean? And he's like, well, he doesn't have a helmet because he can't speak the Creed yet, but he could definitely train with him.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely on his way to becoming a Mandalorian. Don't get it twisted, kid. And this is when they pick their weapons and stuff, and they choose these dark things.
Well, yeah, even the trainer is like, well, he's too small, and Din's like, I'm his word. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine.
I got it.
He's fine. He's fine. Go on, continue. And they pick the darts because he lets the challenge.
They put the
do
little
it.
darts on his little
Yeah,
and it's just like another like foreshadowing moment to like he's gonna be decked out in Mandalorian gear at some point. Like if he's becoming a Mandalorian, that's like whatever. So they put this little thing on him. It's strapped on. It's all cute. He immediately gets hit with two like pretty quickly, and this is when Din kind of comes in with the pep talk, and he's like, "Yo, get him."
Yeah.
Get him, kid.
Well, it'd be like even then, even before they start into it, like the kid's like, yeah, he shouldn't be a part of it, and then Din's like, one does not speak unless one knows, like says that little part of their creed to him, and then the kid responds back, he's like, oh, I know. Like, I know. And then Din, because it's like one of those things that is like kind of under his breath. He's like, well, maybe this lesson's for you. And like, for me, it's just like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
That was absolutely hilarious to see. And then Grogu takes two really quick.
Yeah.
Like, he takes the two quick shots, and you're right. This talk is awesome that Din gives. He's like, I've seen what you can do. It's okay to show them. Like, it's fine.
We're training here, yeah.
It's not even that we're training here. Because
there's been those moments when Grogu's gone overboard. And I think that's what maybe Grogu is afraid to. He doesn't understand, still training.
I think it's about trust.
Yes.
And I think it's about how he's been hunted for most of his life. Yeah. Of, like, having it, and how he's not. He obviously loves Din, trusts Din.
Yep.
throughout their entire journey.
Yeah,
yeah.
Can't get over it.
They are father and son. They are a pair. They are companions. Whatever. They are Ward and Wardy or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is just great. He's like, I've seen what you can do. It's okay to because that's the important thing there that he says. He says it's okay to show them.
Mm-hmm.
It is okay, and then
he does his little flips. He does his little flippy poos, and immediately snaps him off with 3 shots right off the bat. Got some wins, and Bo's just like, "What? And did you teach him that?" He's like, "I didn't teach him that," which goes to show you he's using Jedi training and Mandalorian training, and it's going to be interesting to see because this is the first Jedi / Mandalorian we've seen. Well, we haven't seen, but Tar Vizsla, who created the dark saber, is the last Jedi Mandalorian that we saw in a united Mandalore.
And so, the one thing I do like about Paz Vizsla after this is that, Paz with the little, Foundling there is, one does not speak unless one knows, too. And he's like...
a good coach.
Yeah, a good coach.
Yeah.
He's like, that's why you don't...
You lost.
That's why you don't run your mouth like that either.
Sir.
But it's also about respect and honor of, your opponent, too. It's because, whatever, Paz's, little Foundling, you know, there was his apprentice was overconfident and, it was like, what? This kid's too small, and it's a fair concern. Grogu is small, but it's
that's a thing throughout.
Grogu's
Yoda.
Also a small Jedi, so
exactly.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's a thing throughout Star Wars. Don't look at sides like that. But anyway, so we're going to
after this they're done. They walk away. Grogu wins. Din's like, great job, kid, and then the flying what they call a raptor. Hold on,
for some reason this kid must smell so good because he keeps getting attacked by all these huge animals. That's we go to this raptor dragon thing,
bird flying
thing.
Yeah.
And until we get an actual name, we'll just call it the raptor.
Yeah.
And that comes down, swoops this kid up, and they're off. A couple of them take off, Mando and Vizsla and Bo gets on her ship. We find out, takes off on the Guardian. They're chasing her. They're chasing it, and Din and Vizsla run out of fuel.
Yeah,
they run out of. This is the first time the jetpacks have failed us.
And and it's
now
true,
it's just dead weight
because it's one of those things that you've never really seen that before.
Right.
Because again, usually they're only used in small bursts as it's kind of meant to do.
Exactly.
But it was wild to see this them kind of start sputtering out and then falling, and then we see Bo-Katan's ship shoot on through and keep on following there, and it just flies away, and then we get the opening credit sequence again, and oh man,
we're off. They don't start off slow on these episodes. This was a slower start since it was training and nothing crazy action happened, but it was we're actually training him to be a Mandalorian now, and I thought that was fun to see.
It was great to see, dude.
And so now we get back to the covert.
Yeah.
And Bo basically tracked this thing down, flew above it and tracked it down to its lair, its nest basically.
Yeah.
And
because it's a bird.
And the armor kind of just gasses her up at this point. The armor's kind of all right, you're doing good, So she's gonna run this.
Yeah, and because it's one of those things though that Bo-Katan was a leader, and
the immediate though I love the immediate juxtaposition from her being not only an outsider but a hated outsider from this clan.
Yeah. And
now that she's just because she's redeemed, not just because she's redeemed herself in their eyes, and they literally just flip to the other side. Now they're 100% loyal, but they their tiering system is kind of just all right, you got this information, you're in charge of this.
Yeah, you're in charge of this mission. You did this. You're in charge of this mission. But I mean, there's also got to be the they know who Bo-Katan Kryze is.
Yeah, but she's finally becoming a leader instead of just being handed the leader role.
Yeah.
And this is nice to finally see.
Very true. Very
what
true.
I'm saying, yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting to, and that this is when we take off on the mission, and we get babysitter Armor, and this is cool because Armor does not treat Grogu like a baby.
Yeah.
Armor talks to him like he's just a member of their a new member of their guild, like any Foundling or any person, and she doesn't,
because she's like, don't worry, you'll join them in due time.
Yeah.
You know, like you'll be fine. You're too young to join them now, but like we do have much work to do. And then we go to that covert forge, to the forge, and the Armor begins to make something.
Yeah. Clearly, she's making something for Grogu.
Yeah.
And
how about Grogu doing his little like scurry back into the cave? That was awesome. I love it.
He's the cutest. So it's something she's building something, and that triggers.
Yeah.
Something
she even says it's so interesting because the words and what they're showing us here is like the forge, boom.
Mm-hmm.
The forge will be able to sometimes show weakness, boom. And then we get one more boom of the forge coming down, and then we get the Order 66 flashback.
Yep.
Because it is like probably one of the last times that Grogu truly felt weak and not being able to do anything, because he was truly just he was a youngling Jedi then.
Right.
And
he even looked younger in this flashback. Like he was like less. He had less hair. It was. His eyes were a little wider, I feel like. It was a little younger.
He for sure looked younger in this. But the best thing about this flashback is that we see Grogu's escape. Like, we finally see...
Yeah, and the clone troopers were really cool, because they, like, the CG clone trooper look, like George Lucas did, mixed with, like, these Jedis that, we don't know, and I don't really care about that, because that's kind of cool. Like, we're just getting these... Jedis are just protecting Grogu, and I think that's cool because that proves Grogu is not just a youngling and someone they want to protect. He seems like he's someone important.
Yeah,
something going on with Grogu and why we want to protect him, and they're making their way through.
But I did love just seeing the back of those Jedis, because like they didn't matter, because like the moment that we get here with Jedi Kellrin, and it's Ahmad Best.
Yeah,
it's the guy.
This is Keller and Beck. So this is Ahmad. Hold on. So before we get to him, the Jedi go through the protecting Grogu, and then they get felled, and it's kind of like what's going to happen to Grogu, and then you see someone come through the door, and it's Jar Jar Binks, dude. It's Ahmad Best. It's the guy who played Jar Jar Binks. He comes through. His name's Keller and Beck.
Yeah.
He was in some offshoot reality show. It was like Star Wars Jedi Temple Challenge, and there was like kids playing or whatever. But they made him canon, so it was really cool to see him come in. And I didn't care that all my theories went out the window at this moment, because I was like, that was good. Yeah. Like there's enough. Like we've already had like Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka, like all these great big characters like show up on the show already. Bo-Katan, herself, like like it's cool to just give some new character some bones, some meat on his bones.
And it was so great. That dude was treated absolutely horribly after like the prequel trilogy and all of that, and that was awful. Nobody should be treated like that. So it was really great to see him come back, and he's really good though.
Yeah,
but that's awesome. Like that's the flip side to this. It's like, it would have been one thing if they brought him back and they gave him something like bad to do, but this whole sequence is very compelling.
Right, because immediately he picks up one of the felled Jedi's lightsabers, so now he's got two. He's got the blue and the green. He's going off. He's taking out clone troopers, and he gets to the ship basically.
Yeah, he gets to a little speeder or whatever.
Yeah, speeder with a little
with
sidecar.
A little buggy sidecar thing to it.
And
whatever.
They get on that. There's a chase scene.
And this chase scene's awesome, and like him riding it and stuff is great. He's like, the engine's all like messed up. Like they get shot a whole bunch. Like, dude, it was a great sequence here.
Yeah, they eventually careen off.
Yeah.
And
they careen off down that little. It's the train. It's the train, like subway version of the train or whatever that goes through. Obviously, Coruscant is like where we are here in this flashback, which is weird because like we're in that virtually that same time in like the Bad Batch.
In the Bad Batch, we see Coruscant. Yeah, like 30 something years earlier.
Yeah,
40 years earlier. Anyway, so we're going through there, and he escapes, and we see him talking to some Naboo
some Naboo-looking people that have
guardians,
a transport.
like type of people. And they have this transport, and it looks exactly like the ship, the Naboo starship that Padme uses when after the clones do Order 66 to get to see Anakin on Mustafar. Oh. It looks like almost exactly like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, does he go to Naboo? You know what I mean? Okay, so that's. But anyway,
put a pin in
there's
that.
But anyway, so he gets on that ship, takes off, goes into hyperspace.
Yeah.
And
we're back at the Forge.
Yep.
And because like
it runs back to the flashback's over.
Flashback's over. We're back at the Forge. Back to Grogu. And this is where like it's very noticeable that they have changed the look of Grogu. Like he is very much so older.
Right.
Like he is very clearly aged since then to like now, and it's like awesome.
We have to remember he's in his 50s, like 50 something now, because he was with 2 years apparently with Luke.
Yeah.
He's spent all that time training. Is however many years he's already spent with Din since the beginning. So it's like 55 maybe.
Yeah. Right.
Like he could be now. So like words are starting to come out. You could tell he's being more vocal and stuff too. Mm-hmm. But until he could speak that Creed, he's not getting a helmet. So what he gets here is pretty cool. He gets this chest plate.
He gets a rondelle.
Exactly. With the mud horn on it.
Yep. And
that would be normally where you'd wear like kind of here. Right.
Well, so to be fair, a rondelle in...
Oh, no, that's a pauldron, sorry.
Like a rondelle is actually the center chest plate that's meant for, like, a harness of things. Right. That's meant to connect to, like, your shoulder pads and, like, things like that you would have all over you. Because he has the chainmail. And so, like, that's the idea of it is, like, then that's the center, protecting his chest and his heart and all of that.
So we can't not believe that that's not going to come into play in the future episodes, that having that. But, yeah. Anyway, that's such a cool scene to see, like him in the armor finally just like, oh, this is the way, this is the path, this is what Grogu's doing. This isn't half, and he's gonna be a Mandalorian.
Well, and like that's the beauty. Like the armor was never like anti Grogu or anything. Like literally, like the second that Din was like, I have this child, and she's like, cool, that's your foundling, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, return him to his people.
And then came back, and then was like, all right, well, now it's yours.
Yeah. Now he's truly yours, and, like, you raise him until he can take the creed and, like, become his own Mandalorian.
She never had a problem with that. And she was,
which is, like...
But she treats him as an equal, like, completely. She doesn't treat him like a child, and it's really cool to see, and it's just... she treats all the foundlings like that. She's just... which I can't wait to see who she is. There's theories out there, and I don't know still.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting. It will be interesting to see who she finally is.
Yeah.
If they ever
get into it. Give her,
especially this season. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I also like her just being called the Armorer.
Yeah, that's great.
But
that's kind of the lore of this. It's kind of great not seeing some of these people's faces.
Yeah. Absolutely. But then we go to the rescue mission, man.
Yeah, we're back. Trying to get the kid back, trying to get the foundling back from this like raptor, giant dragon thing, and they get to the peak, but they have to climb. They have to climb this peak. I didn't understand why they were climbing, and then I was like, is it because they're out of gas still, or is it because they want to be silent?
They want to be silent.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, because they went back to base, so it's not because.
So they lead the mission, and at the foothills they land the ship at like the foothills, and then they walk a whole bunch away because they can't bring the ship super close.
Right.
Again, to make noise.
Correct.
They know if they startle the raptor, there's a good chance that the kid will be killed.
That's why she flew above.
So too. That's why she figured out where it was, always kept her distance.
Yeah, and this is the campfire scene.
Yeah, and then we get to the campfire scene here. And so like they get to the base of the peak.
Really just diving into the Western.
Yeah, right.
It's like a bunch of cowboys having their cowboy hats on.
Yeah.
And like you don't take that thing off in front of it. But yeah, so this is a cool scene too because it also shows a respect thing again.
Yeah.
That was like Vizsla had no respect for her and definitely no respect for Din. Even fought him for the Darksaber. But at this point, they're just teammates on this thing, and she's the leader.
Yeah.
So, because she's like, how do we eat?
Yeah. she goes to Din.
He's like, well, we got to just find somewhere.
Yeah, we just walk off in our own little, like, areas, and then we just find a place to, like, eat and stuff.
And Vizsla's like, yeah, well, you chill.
Yeah.
You're actually...
like, you're the leader.
Yeah,
you're
so
the war party
fire.
leader,
Yeah.
so, like, you get the benefit of just staying by the fire while everybody else... Now, hold on here. Despite that probably being true, like Mandalorian, like code or whatever, do you also think, because like of what we find out when they get to the nest?
Of course, I think he's. I think maybe he would have kept that, and maybe he would have stayed there if it was some other mission. Maybe he wouldn't have told her, and would have just been like he would have been like,
since she's been so like forward and helpful,
but also
and
the
stuff.
loyalty. This loyalty switch already shows me that probably maybe not though.
Yeah.
That he is by the creed. He very much believes in the creed.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
for him to not tell her would kind of be against his beliefs. So I think even if he didn't like her, he's gonna respect her for sure.
For sure. And so they spend the night there. They all eat. The next morning, they go over. They're like, we're gonna use grapnels. Can't use our jetpacks. Can't use our blasters. Can't use, anything really loud. I love the music that they started playing here and stuff. This climb is brutal, dude. It's absolutely atrocious. It looks like it sucks so bad.
I know, because you got to remember how they got all this dead weight. This Beskar armor right now.
Yeah.
And they're climbing. And not to say that it's not lightweight and stuff, but still, it's a steel.
And they all keep their jetpacks on, which at first I was like, man, why wouldn't you get rid of that? But then I guess even if you startle the raptor,
you're gonna need them,
and you have to make a quick escape, you can use your jetpack to jettison out back to the ship or
definitely.
whatever. But one thing I noticed,
heavy gunner bringing up his heavy gun, I was like, come on, guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah.
But there's the Mandalorian helmet already in the nest because they've talked about the raptors. These bird creatures already stealing people and stuff before.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because it's interesting because again they got attacked by that big giant creature in the first episode.
Oh yeah,
and it's like they're very much on a planet that they're not, that humans are not the main.
They're not the top of the food chain.
They're not the top of the food chain at all. No. So they are not only surviving on this planet to hide from the Empire, they're surviving every day from all these other creatures that are on this planet already. So it's a good place to hide, and it makes sense why they're hiding there. But all these problems keep coming up, and it's they need to move. They need it. So I could see that being something happening soon. We need a new base. But yeah, so we get up there and we see the helmet, and Vizsla kind of jumps the gun. He sees there's a heat signature.
Yeah. Din's like, there's a heat signature coming from over there.
And Vizsla kind of jumps the gun and goes towards it right away.
Yeah, because there's no raptor up there. They don't see Ragnar, who's the foundling that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Or anything
just an
like
interesting
that.
name. It was like,
So we don't see anything like that.
That kid's Jimmy Kimmel's nephew.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. I didn't know that either.
But we don't see anything. And Pez lifts up where the heat signature is, and we see the 3 babies.
Yeah.
Three babies.
He's in a nest, and they gotta eat.
Yeah, the 3 babies pop up. Then that attracts the mama.
That pisses
Pez
off mama.
Goes underneath, pulls a little bit of the nest there over him.
Yeah.
And then the mama spits up Ragnar, and that was wild. To feed the babies.
Yeah.
And Paz turns on his jetpack again, going head first.
Goes straight into the thing's mouth.
And he's like, "This is my son."
Yeah.
And then we're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So not only is he your foundling, he's actually your son.
Yeah. That's why he's kind of acting irrational too. Like,
yeah, that's why he's a little
gung ho.
Yeah, a little gung ho.
I get it. A little more gung ho than he would be.
Exactly.
But yeah, so he flies right into Thing's mouth. The Thing grabs Ragnar and they're off. And this is why they need their jetpacks.
Exactly. And this is why you don't leave your jetpack at home when you're a Mandalorian.
Exactly. Mandalorian without a jetpack is barely a Mandalorian.
Right. I mean, Bo loses one of her shoulder pads in it, which is crazy.
Yeah, she loses her pauldron, and that's an interesting little thing for later.
Yeah.
And this is when they take off and just start fighting this thing. And
it's an awesome aerial battle.
Yeah, it's cool.
And eventually they pinch the wing of it, and they get it. They get it to drop, and it drops Ragnar.
Mando swoops in,
grabs him. The alligator eats the raptor.
Just like what's his name said, Qui-Gon. There's always a bigger fish, you know. Like there's
always a bigger fish.
So like they live on this planet that is crazy to be living on, and it's like I'm starting to realize that more and more. You know what I mean? Like they're hiding out here for a reason, but it's kind of, I think they've lived their welcome. Right. This place. Well, outstayed their welcome.
And then Paz and Din have a really nice moment there.
This is great.
On the mountain where, like, Paz is like, "Are you okay, son?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am." And like,
Din's got a new ride or die.
Yeah, absolutely. And Paz just goes like, "Thank you." And Din's simple response, "This is the way."
This is the way.
And it's awesome. They return to the the covert, and they get off Bo's ship. There's a joyous rapture and everything.
And this is the point when the armor
says, "You have honored."
Praises Bo. She gasses her up hard. But this is when Bo does something pretty funny right here, because she's like, we also brought you some new foundlings.
Yeah. And
brings the little baby dragon raptors out.
Birds. Yeah.
Out, and that was awesome, because that's going to pay off eventually, and I love that. So this scene between Bo and the armor is interesting.
Dude, after the armor is like, you honored your house in all of Mandalore.
I'm like,
by doing the highest honor by Creed, by saving the foundlings, and then her bringing out more foundlings as the raptors is so great, dude.
Yeah, and her pauldron's broke.
Yeah, let's go.
Quick new one.
She's like, let's go. Let me go fix that. And this whole scene is awesome.
This is cool, because this is when she's about to start making the pauldron, right? And she's about to put the night owl symbol, which is both night owl. And she's like, wait, can you not?
Yeah, well, because
can I get something else?
Yeah. The armor is like, do you want a night owl?
Yeah.
And
she's like, I already got one.
And then Bo is staring at the mythosaur hanging
skull,
out on skull.
Made out of Beskar.
Made out of Beskar, the replica skull made out of Beskar, hanging on the wall there. And she's like, can I have the mythosaur?
All Mandalorians could have the mythosaur,
Yeah, and the armor is like, that belongs to all Mandalorians. So yes, of course you can.
So that's interesting. Now Night Owl on one side, mythosaur on the other now. And this is kind of when they get into the talk where
about seeing one and stuff.
Which I thought was interesting that she brought this up to the armorer.
Yep.
I think it shows she is like a high priestess, right? She's gonna hold this secret because it is between her. This conversation's kind of locked into that spiritual conversation. Yeah. We're doing something here, and she's like, I saw a mythosaur, and she's like, oh yeah, a lot of Mandalorians have visions of mythosaur. It's good luck,
Yeah.
I don't think it was a vision, because I saw it too, lady.
Yeah.
And it was. Bo's like, no, it was real.
A real one in the living waters.
Armor's like, this is the way.
This is the way.
And then when you just see Bo staring right at that mythosaur skull again.
She's like, when you walk the way, you'll see many things. And Bo's like, no, it was real.
Right.
And dude.
And I don't think a lot of people do right now that the armorer doesn't believe her. I think she does. I think she just, that's it. You got to do what you got to do. If it was real, cool. If not, all right.
Yeah.
Either way, you're on some new mission right now, and this is the way.
Well, I mean, because here's the thing now. You've brought up the planet not being super great with all of the crazy creatures. Mm-hmm. Not saying that Mandalore doesn't have the amphites or whatever. there or anything. But
as far as humans go, there's no population.
But there's no population there like that. There is a mythosaur there. We as the audience saw it, even though Din didn't, but Bo did. I really
unless they're
think,
pulling off hats long.
I really think that we're gonna see them like go back to like Mandalore and like try and like truly reclaim it.
I agree, but I don't know if that's right away. But they are gonna need a new base of operations sooner than later, clearly, because the Foundlings aren't safe here.
Yeah,
We've in 2 of these episodes already, we've seen them be attacked, and they've had to do something about it.
So, but yeah, then it just Bo staring at the trophy, as you said, and like it just, it just cuts to black. Then we get the awesome credit sequence with always the great, amazing concept art that they do. It's so great. It's so beautiful. It's so awesome. But
because it also shows you what could have been.
Yeah,
that's
and like almost an alternate take before like what they ended up making
Actually.
it like put on screen and everything. So yeah, that's always really sweet seeing those like slightly different things. And again, concept art for a reason, to help make that concept real and everything.
Yep.
But I really love this episode. I really love The Mandalorian. Can't believe we're already halfway through. It's so wild. That we're halfway through, and that we only have 4 more episodes. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let's wrap this up.
Yep.
I'm Jimmy with the Triple C Collective.
I'm Collin.
And we want to thank you all for joining us. We hope you all stay safe. Please like and subscribe to this video. And as always, this is the way.